Did you know that King Henry VIII was one of the most intriguing and controversial kings in English history? Born into royalty, his life was a constant whirlwind of political maneuvering, religious reform, and personal scandal. His reign, which spanned over 3 decades in the 16th century, marked a pivotal period in English history. He was a ruler whose actions would forever change the course of his nation. Today, we delve into the life of this remarkable monarch. We'll investigate his early years, his notable achievements, and the failures that marked his reign. We'll also explore his turbulent family life, the battles he fought, and the circumstances surrounding his death. Each aspect of his life offers a fascinating glimpse into the world of Tudor England and the man who ruled it. So prepare for a journey back in time as we unfold the captivating life of King Henry VIII. Born into royalty, the life of King Henry VIII was marked by dramatic turns right from the start. The second son of Henry VII and Elizabeth, the daughter of Edward IV, he was born on the 28th of June 1491 in Greenwich, near London, England. His world was one of privilege and power, but also one of responsibility and expectation. Henry's early life was not marked by the anticipation of kingship. After all, his elder brother Arthur was the one groomed for the throne. However, destiny had different plans. The year 1502 brought with it a wave of grief as Arthur passed away, transforming Henry overnight from the spare to the heir. The young Henry was not just a prince waiting in the wings, he was an individual of many talents. His early education was comprehensive, covering a wide range of subjects from languages to theology, music to riding. He was an excellent student, known for his quick mind and his love for learning. He was also a fine athlete, excelling at hunting and dancing. These skills not only shaped his character, but also prepared him for the challenges of kingship. Henry's transformation into a king in waiting was not just marked by his brother's death, it was also a period of personal growth and development. His father, recognizing his new role as the heir, ensured that he received a fitting education, one that would prepare him for his future responsibilities. This included lessons in governance, diplomacy, and military strategy. Henry's early life, however, was not just about education and preparation for kingship. It was also a time of personal exploration and enjoyment. He had a strong passion for music and was an accomplished player of the lute. He also enjoyed hunting, jousting, and dancing, activities that not only reflected his physical prowess, but also his love for life. Little did the young Henry know, his life was set to be one of the most talked about in history. King Henry VIII was not just a king, but a king who made significant contributions to his kingdom. This charismatic and larger-than-life monarch left a profound impact on England's political, religious, and military landscape. Let's start with his political achievements. Henry VIII had a knack for politics and diplomacy. His reign saw England transition from a relatively isolated island nation to a significant player in European politics, but perhaps his most notable political accomplishment was the transformation of Parliament. Before Henry VIII, Parliament was an occasional court convened at the king's behest. Under Henry, it evolved into a central pillar of the English Constitution, a move that shaped the nation's governance for centuries to come. But his political acumen wasn't confined to England's borders. He also extended his influence to Ireland. In a bold move, he passed an Act of Parliament which declared himself as the King of Ireland. This was a first in history, intertwining the destinies of England and Ireland in a way that is still felt today. In matters of religion too, Henry VIII was a game changer. His break with the Catholic Church and the establishment of the Church of England was one of the most significant religious changes in history. This act not only altered England's religious landscape, but also had far-reaching effects on the rest of Europe. On the military front, Henry VIII was equally ambitious. His reign was marked by several military campaigns, some successful and others not so much. But his determination to expand England's territories and influence was unwavering. In spite of his later controversies, these achievements cemented his place in history. Henry VIII was not just a king who ruled, but a king who shaped the future. His actions laid the groundwork for the England we know today, and his legacy is one that continues to echo through the annals of history. It's clear that Henry VIII was more than just a monarch. He was a force that shaped a nation. However, not all that glitters is gold. King Henry VIII had his fair share of failures. His ambitions often led him down a path of futile endeavors and ill-fated campaigns. He set his sights on France, launching numerous invasions. Yet these attempts only resulted in minor territorial gains, falling far short of his expectations. Henry also made a bold attempt to bring Scotland under his rule. However, this move only served to push Scotland closer to France, resulting in an alliance against England. This strategic misstep further complicated his reign and strained international relations. But perhaps the most glaring of his failures was his financial recklessness. Known for his opulent lifestyle and penchant for waging costly wars, Henry's extravagant expenditures plunged the kingdom into economic turmoil. The treasury was left in dire straits, with the kingdom on the brink of financial ruin. These failures added to the complexity of his reign. King Henry VIII's personal life was just as tumultuous as his political one. A man of many passions, Henry VIII is perhaps most remembered for his numerous marriages. He walked down the aisle not once, not twice, but 6 times during his reign, each marriage leaving an indelible mark on the annals of English history. His first wife was Katherine of Aragon, who had previously been married to his older brother Arthur. When Katherine failed to produce a male heir, Henry began to seek ways to end the marriage, which eventually led to England's break with the Catholic Church and the creation of the Church of England. Next came the vivacious and feisty Anne Boleyn. Her marriage to Henry was marked by scandal, as she had been his mistress while he was still wedded to Katherine. Anne gave birth to the future Queen Elizabeth I, but her inability to produce a male heir led to her downfall. Accused of adultery and treason, Anne was beheaded in 1536. Jane Seymour, his third wife, finally gave Henry the son he so desperately wanted. Edward VI was born in 1537, but Jane tragically died just 12 days after childbirth. Anne of Cleves was Henry's fourth wife. Their marriage was short-lived, lasting only 6 months. Catherine Howard, wife number 5, met a fate similar to Anne Boleyn's. Accused of adultery, she was executed in 1542. Lastly, Catherine Parr, his 6th wife, outlived Henry. She played a crucial role in reconciling Henry with his 2 daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, both of whom would later become queens in their own right. Each of his marriages was a saga in itself, highlighting the king's desperate pursuit for a male heir, his mercurial temperament, and his readiness to challenge the conventions of his time. His vibrant personal life is a significant part of his enduring legacy. Through his 3 surviving children, Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth, Henry's bloodline continued to shape the course of English history long after his death. In the battlefield, King Henry VIII was a force to be reckoned with. The king's military pursuits were as varied as they were ambitious. A man known for his larger-than-life personality, Henry VIII was no stranger to the battlefield. His reign saw considerable military activity, and he wasn't afraid to lead from the front. One of his major military engagements was the Anglo-Scottish Wars. This series of conflicts, which took place intermittently across the 16th century, saw Henry VIII pitted against his northern neighbours. The king's aggressive foreign policy, fueled by his desire to assert England's dominance, put him at odds with Scotland and led to several intense battles. Henry VIII's military ambitions also took him across the English Channel. In the Italian Wars of 1521 to 1526 and again in 1542 to 1546, he found himself embroiled in a series of conflicts that spanned the European continent. These wars, fought primarily between France and Spain, saw England playing a significant role thanks to Henry VIII's involvement. But perhaps the most notable of Henry VIII's military endeavors was his invasion of France in the summer of 1544. Leading an impressive force of 36,000 soldiers, Henry VIII set his sights on the French town of Boulogne. The king's forces were successful in capturing the town, marking a significant victory for England. This feat was a clear demonstration of Henry VIII's military prowess and his steadfast determination to establish England as a major European power. The Battle of Guinegate, also known as the Battle of the Spurs, was another notable conflict during Henry's reign. This battle, fought against the French, ended in a decisive victory for the English forces and further solidified Henry's reputation as a formidable military leader. These battles were a testament to his ambitious nature. Henry VIII's military campaigns, while often controversial, played a significant role in shaping England's position on the world stage. His determination to assert England's dominance both at home and abroad was a defining aspect of his reign and continues to be a key part of his historical legacy. The end of King Henry VIII's life was as dramatic as his reign. On January 28, 1547, the infamous King of England breathed his last, marking the end of a tumultuous era. He was 55 years old, a relatively long life for the time, but it was a life plagued with health problems. Henry VIII's severe obesity had taken a toll on his body. Years of extravagant feasting and a sedentary lifestyle had contributed to his ill health. His leg bore an open, ulcerated wound, a painful reminder of a jousting accident that had occurred years before. The king's health was further compromised when he suffered a massive head trauma from his final infamous jousting accident. His death left a void in the kingdom, and his subjects mourned the loss of their charismatic, if controversial, leader. With his death, an era of significant historical impact came to an end. From his early life to his death, King Henry VIII's life was one of grandeur, controversy, and historical significance. Born the second son, he ascended the throne unexpectedly and ruled with a firm hand, placing England at the heart of European politics and establishing himself as King of Ireland. Despite his political achievements, his personal life was fraught with controversy. His 6 marriages and the fate of his wives are well-known tales of intrigue, love, and betrayal. His military campaigns, though not always successful, showcased his determination to expand his dominion. His lifestyle and lavish expenditures, however, led to financial ruin. Yet his children, Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, each ascended the throne in their turn, shaping the future of England. King Henry VIII's life, filled with triumphs, failures, and dramatic turns, remains a significant chapter in English history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through King Henry VIII's life. Remember to subscribe for more fascinating historical content.